Okay, I have to be really careful on this second video because this is very delicate ground. My point in bringing up the discord of the law of identity is basically to have us focus on what it means to make the first cogation of an item relative to itself, meaning I had to accept identity in order to note this discord. But the point of noting the discord of cogation, to say that x does not equal x, is to bring up points of agnosticism. There's 3 points that I want to bring up. That first point is a demonstrative point to state that the initial cogation can be reassociated away from an item to itself. It can be associated to some other background. So an agnostic, not knowing where, or not being sophisticated enough, let's say, to note where their statements may be associated or may be inferred or taken to mean something by the listener, or even in retrospect by themselves, meaning if they don't know what it is they're making the initial association to, or that the meaning becomes variant or in multitude, then their intent behind the saying becomes something that they say, well, I'm not certain of this because even in my speaking, such as this video, it's going to be taken in many, many contexts, and upon reread or re-looking, it may be looked upon differently, even by myself. So there is a certain degree, you could say, of aspect recognition that is based in the grammar itself. Now, the second point that I'd like to make about agnosticism has to do with the dream state. First of all, we start as non-rational beasts and become lingual creatures, and then we cycle back into non-rational dream states, unconscious states, where symbols and ideas in these conscious states, or these unconscious states, these subconscious states, if you will, the identity of an object, if it is identified, it can be overinflated, can be associated. 2 plus 2 could mean spam in your dream. Your very identity, your very approach to your mythic landscape in a dream, you may be another individual altogether. You may speak differently, you may have 2 heads, you may be in different dimensions, and so forth. And so in that space, entering into an irrational landscape, and then can cause all this symbolism to occur, where upon re-entry into your awake life, which is the consistency of the rational base in which we describe our day-to-day world and defend it, that re-immersion, so to speak, is where once again you're grounded. You're grounded in the grammar that you're using. You're grounded in your statements, and now you have to peer back into your memory, so to speak, and say, well, in this particular case, I was doing this, and all of a sudden, everything that was nonsensical about a dream, if you're to describe it at all, either your description is going to remain nonsensical, or or you're going to have to apply a reasonability to it in order to speak about it at all. And so agnosticism is based, meaning the history of agnosticism does not come necessarily from the association with that which is supernatural or an exterior to the language or the exterior to the universe. It has to do with a readjustment. It has to do with a human experience of living in irrational states, and then reapplying that, suspending reason in order to define this. And then some people inflate the experience into coincidences, into symbolic meanings, where they're living within this particular state, and so it's not based on an uncertainty of the language, is in the first case, and it's not based on something supernatural. It's based on a trying to bring about possibility, or remembering, engaging the limits between prelingual and lingual, between rational and irrational, and focusing on the suspension of ration in order to find meaning, find point to look at mythic symbolism as if it has some application to one's life. Okay, my next video, we're going to go ahead and speak about agnosticism, but as a supernatural. But in this one, I want to bring up that something that Stefbot brings up is that you can't reach out of language and grab something and bring it back in, but you can remember something irrational about a dream and bring it back in. You can see a fish underwater and still see your reflection at the same time in the water, although I'll say the objectivist is blinded by a particular type of narcissism, seeing themselves that they don't see the fish in there to grab that. But once again, I'm not speaking outside of the universe. I'm speaking within the human experience for this one. We'll get back to you on the next. Now, this is going to be kind of interesting also, because YouTube has been compressing my videos down to 6 minutes and 40 seconds, but in order for this compression to occur, and this is probably due to my internet speed, in order for this compression to occur, I have to actually record 10 minutes of video. Okay, so 10 minutes of video has to occur, and then it's going to somehow compress it down into 6 minutes and 40 seconds, unless YouTube has this resolved. If that's the case, then you're hearing this portion. If it's not the case, then like my other videos recently, they are limited to just shy of 6 minutes and 40 seconds. So if you are hearing this, and I do decide to publish it, the second metaphor is the aspect blindness, where one individual, a certain rationalists, are incapable of seeing or sensing, or let's say triangulating something within this paradigm of existence, such that they are able to construe something from the limits of this paradigm. And by this, the metaphor is the old lady, young lady drawing. You can only see one at the same time, or either the old lady or the young lady, or it's those very fuzzy pictorial computer-generated static images. And by static, I mean they both look static and they're static, not as radio data that's granulated. And that in order to see these, you either have to peer, your focal point has to be either in front of or behind the image itself, and then the image makes itself manifest. And it makes itself manifest where the granulation or the static is still present, but that it is coding and defining actually what it is that the image is. And so certain people, certain individuals, we can say certain non-religious individuals, let's say, are not able to pull anything supernatural. They haven't experienced anything supernatural, but I'll be addressing that in the next video. So let's see how this one turns out. I'm just going to sit back now and drink a drinky. Wow. Yup. Lots of marks on the old skin. Not getting enough sun. No siree. No siree doo dee be dee be dee be bob.